Alright guys, take a look at this. This is Harley Davidson Demo Days. Look at all these bikes. Today I'm going to take out this one. This is brand new for 2022. The Lowrider ST. So essentially what it is, it's a Lowrider S with the addition of fairings and bags. Apparently it's inspired by bagger racing. Like smaller bags, smaller fairing, kind of interesting. All right, let's take a look at this. We're gonna take it for a test ride. So, at first, when I first started looking at the little speedometer digital displays there, I didn't really like them. But now that I'm actually getting used to them, I absolutely love the little displays. All right, so this one, I believe we just turn it on there. Make sure we're in neutral, pull in the clutch, hit the start button. Oh yeah. Looks like it, oh that's interesting. So the fairing is actually attached to the frame, kind of like the Road Glide, which actually increases the stability of the steering, I think, around the corners. Well, I'm actually surprised that they set it up that way instead of attaching it to the forks. It might actually really stabilize it. This is pretty awesome. Look at how low the RPM is at idle, like less than 1,000, like 840 it's going down to, which is pretty wild. So it has the standard Harley Davidson mirrors, which I really like. It seems like they're kind of hard. Well, these are kind of easy to move. Not too bad. Some of them are like really super stiff. All right, so look at the foot pegs, how high up they are. Wow. Brings my knees. I'm actually 6'4", 235 pounds, so not too bad, I guess. So this is the FXLR ST. All right, so let's put it in gear. Not as big as of a clunk into first gear than a lot of your Harleys. I always like to take a look at the clutch. So let's see how far out we go until it starts grabbing. About an inch out. Not too bad. So some of them are further out than that. All right, so we're gonna take her out. Let's see here. Interesting stance on this one. Very interesting stance. Definitely more upright. Back brakes. You gotta press a little bit harder than some of them on the back brakes. Maybe it just hasn't been pumped for a while. I don't know about that, but let's try it. All right, not too bad. We'll pull up to the stop sign. Slow speed stability, not too bad actually. Going really slow. Sometimes if you have the really big fairings on them, it tends to yeah, this has got some pickup. All right. Sometimes the big fairings kind of make it hard for slow speed stability, but this one seems like there's not much of a fairing there, so it's pretty minimalist fairing on this one. It has an interesting look, interesting feel to it. I feel like my knees are way up, like they need to lower the pegs by about 6 inches. Oh, I like the stance on this one. It's a pretty interesting stance. All right. Let's take her around the highway here. I'm like sitting way back in the seat, way back, which is also kind of an interesting feel. Has some good power, some really good pickup. Not too bad. I can definitely tell the fairing kind of takes some of the wind blast off you. I don't feel any buffeting. No buffeting at all. Of course, I'm only going 40. So we'll see once we bring it up to a little bit higher of a speed. The weird thing is, on this bike, it seems like you could easily do a wheelie just because of my stance. I'm like sitting pretty far back to where I don't have much weight on the front end. All right. So we're going almost 60, 57. Pretty stable. You can definitely feel some vibration on the road, but it's not too bad. Not bad at all. It's not like a Road King where it's like, you know, as smooth as glass. You can feel the, I don't know if you can even see the vibration from the engine in the fairing. You can definitely feel a little bit. It has a really good sound to it. It feels like you're like in the bike, definitely more in the bike than like some of them you feel like you're on top of the bike. This one feels like, I think if you brought the handlebars up just a few inches, you'd feel like you're more on a chopper, which would be kind of neat. I would definitely change the foot pegs for my size. I feel like I'm crunched on the foot pegs, but other than that, it feels like the bike is really, really comfortable. It seems like I have a slightly forward stance on this one. Not quite straight up and down. One hand wave, not bad, not bad. Seems pretty maneuverable. Not as bad as some of the big fat tire models like your Fat Boy or your Fat Bob with the big fat tire. This one seems like it has more maneuverability. I'm actually surprised how much wind that fairing takes off of me. You know, on a day like today, I would almost rather have it without a fairing because it's pretty warm. But it seems like it's pretty clean wind, not choppy. You know, like some of them have the choppiness. Some of them are really bad because you get the buffeting on your helmet. It feels like it almost affects your vision. It kind of blurs your vision because it's really super choppy. But on this one, it's pretty smooth. Like they really put some thought into really smoothing out the wind around this fairing. You can definitely hear a lot of engine noise on this one, so it's not like, you know, in some of them there's so much exhaust. The back brakes, not the greatest. Not the greatest. I'd say maybe not the fastest. Which is interesting. I thought it would be a little bit faster. Of course, we could try bringing up the RPMs a little bit. Let's keep them pretty low. You can definitely feel the road on this. Some of the vibration coming up through the, mostly through the handlebars. You really can't feel too much coming up through the seat. You can feel a little vibration through the foot pegs. Oh, I think that's the. I think that's mainly the engine vibration when you're giving it gas. Going around the corners, pretty stable. Not too bad. Yeah, you feel like you kind of get the impression that you're on a mean bike. That's kind of what I feel like on this. This is a mean bike. It's a bad bike. It's pretty fun though. It's not too heavy like some of your baggers, but it's not super light like your Sportster S. Wind maybe just a little bit choppy, not too bad. There's a decent amount of wind coming up. Seems like a lot of the wind's coming up on my knees. Not really down my sleeves too much, maybe just a little bit. I was wondering if you could pop off that fairing, but it looks like it's secured pretty good. Kind of has an interesting handlebars, almost straight across. I don't know what they call that style of handlebar. Pretty interesting. Really blacked out. Everything's blacked out. Almost like a almost looks like one of the non-fingerprint finishes on a lot of your metal. Almost looks like a cast iron or something. Kind of a look to it. Definitely has some roar and some pickup. This is a fun bike, really fun. Alright, so I'm coming up to another stop sign and I'll do a U-turn in the parking lot here. We'll see how good it does on the like a really small turn area. I would imagine it would do pretty good turning around in this little parking lot. I was turning around some baggers in here, and let me tell you, the baggers, it's kind of hard to turn around in this little spot right here with one of those big baggers. This one seems pretty good, not too bad. It's has a different feel to it, I guess. It feels like I can't really explain how it feels. It feels big, but it doesn't really feel like a big bike. I guess it's just like spread out. It's kind of an interesting feel to it. Alright, let's see what this baby can do. Wow. Pretty nice, pretty nice. It does have some pickup once you get up to the higher RPMs. So, not too bad. A little bit quicker than I thought at first. Now I'm getting some choppiness in the wind. I can feel it's pretty choppy. I don't know if it's really buffeting like my head. It's not really blurring my vision, but it's like I can hear it's choppy. Maybe like off to the side there's choppy wind and I can definitely hear it. Like when I'm riding right now, all I can hear is the choppy wind from the ferry. It's interesting. Almost louder than the sound of the bike. Has an interesting choppiness to it. It's really maneuverable on the road. Like if you saw something in the road and you were like trying to turn around, you know, trying to go around like a little pothole or something, it'd be really easy. I think it's because of the slightly thinner front tire on that one. So it seems like there's a trade-off. If you go with a fatter tire, you have more stability on the road. It seems like a little bit more stable around the corners, but it's harder to push on the steering, on the handlebars. Like when you're going around a corner on this one, it's super easy. You barely have to push on the handlebars to go around a corner. And some of the ones with a really big fat tire like the Fat Boy, it seems like you have to push like 4 times harder on the handlebars. Like this one, you barely even have to push on the handlebars to go to make this corner right here. So it's pretty easy in that sense, but it's kind of weird on some of your baggers. The baggers with the big fairing, it seems like the weight of the fairing kind of helps you go around the corners. Like on the road glide, the fairing is so heavy that it kind of leans into the corners, and it kind of makes up for having to push so hard on the handlebars, where it's easier on the road glide. Of course, the road glide is a completely different bike. It's a big bagger. It's a really big bike. Kind of harder to turn around in small spots with something like a road glide. Let's see how the back brakes are here. Front brakes, ooh, front brakes are really good. Back brakes, you really got to get on them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, this thing has some pickup. All right, I take that back. All right. Yeah, this is pretty good. Not too bad. Once you get used to it, not too bad at all. So would I buy this bike? Yeah, I'd probably buy this bike. This would be a good cruising around the city bike. I don't know if I'd want to take this on the highway for like, you know, going like an 8-hour drive. So far I've been riding this for about 20 minutes, I'd say, and the seat is still comfortable. So far I haven't seen a single Harley Davidson where I struggled with like pain in my rear end. I know some of the Hondas were unbearable. Oh, the Honda Rebel 1100 is kind of burned in my memory as being one of the worst. I got on that bike and like 20 minutes later I was like, I gotta get off, my tailbone's killing me. And on this one, no problem at all. Seems like all these Harleys have really comfortable seats. I really like the little speedometer. You don't have to search for it. It's like right there, minimalist kind of a little speedometer right on the handlebars. And it's interesting they have the RPM right under the speedometer and the gear indicator. So we're in 4th gear, going 54 with 2750 RPM. So let's see, if we went up into top gear, we're going 56 at 2000 RPM, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do. So, wow, that wind is really choppy. Really choppy right now, almost to the point of a little buffeting. Wow. A lot of it depends on the wind direction and the wind speed too. I know in a lot of the fairings you get hit with the wind at a certain speed, a certain direction, and you have a lot of buffeting, but it's not always buffeting. It's just kind of like a crosswind once in a while on a lot of these bikes. You get the buffeting. Which it seems like on this one, I haven't really gotten a lot of buffeting at all. Of course, in higher speeds, I don't know. It seemed like when I was going at the higher speeds, it was really super choppy. I don't know if it was so much buffeting on this one or just loud wind. I think it's more loud wind that I'm hearing from the fairing on this one. Alright, so this is where we turn to go back. We follow the red arrows. So as far as ease of riding, I'd say this is pretty easy to ride. Not too bad. One of the easier ones, I'd say. I think just because it's a lighter bike. And the other thing with Harley Davidson that I really like is all their bikes have self-canceling blinkers. You get on some of the other brand names and you're always wondering, did I turn the blinker off? Oh, that's maddening. You never have to worry about it on this one. It's always self-canceling. Whoa, I got stuck in that rut. With the skinny tires, you definitely can feel the ruts in the road a little bit more. You kind of get sucked up versus like a thicker tire. And on this bike, you hear pretty much absolutely no exhaust sound either. It's all pretty much all engine sound. They have this thing completely quieted out where you're getting nothing. So alright, so we're going to go around, see if we can take another one out. So they have 17 bikes here, which is kind of crazy. I'm going through all of them trying to ride every single one. It's a 3-day event. I think tomorrow they have free hot dogs and hamburgers. So I'll definitely be back tomorrow. This one just feels like it's just the foot pegs that kind of scrunch me up a little bit on this one. Makes me feel a little bit scrunched. But I'm sure you could lower the foot pegs on this. If you lower the foot pegs, it would be an awesome bike. So the other thing I found on this one is it seems like the throttle is really sensitive, which is kind of interesting. All right, let's see if we can easily get it back into neutral. Oh yeah, silky smooth. Right, and some of them, you know, some of these bikes, it takes me like 3 or 4, sometimes 5 times to get it into neutral, and some of them are super easy and super smooth just to pop right into neutral. All right, then to kill it, hit that kickstand. The other thing on these kickstands on these newer Harleys, the guy was saying he's actually going down the line and pulling them all over a little bit to make sure they're completely on the kickstand, leaned over, because some of them are standing up too straight and you have to really pull them over to get that kickstand out. Yeah, it's got a pretty thin tire. I could definitely tell that on the road, the thinner tire on that one. All right, so there you have it. That is the 2022 Harley Davidson Lowrider ST with the bags and the fairing. All right, so there you have it. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.